right, welcome into Surviving Paradise, the podcast that takes a sometimes serious, oftentimes humorous look at the claim of Jehovah's Witness leadership that they are providing a modern-day spiritual paradise. I'm your host here, former elder, ministerial servant, and a kid raised as a Jehovah's Witness in the 70s and 80s, that being me, Stacy Bauman. We try to have some fun here, a little bit of a trigger warning. Sarcasm, humor, experiences, and outlook, all just mine. Never meant to offend. Thanks for being here. Anyone who listens to this crazy show knows well my theory and surrounding explanation for the world of chosen ignorance that is alive and well inside Jehovah's Witnesses. I'm going to try to not repeat all things cognitive dissonance, fear, mental conditioning, but please note, it's a very real dynamic, a construct that the governing body has built early in this organization's history, and they have honed in 2026. It doesn't take a genius to see that multiple meetings a week, all these videos, the former cassette tapes, family study nights, all the conventions and assemblies, the music, oh boy, the music, and more, they all play a role in the daily mental and emotional conditioning of Jehovah's Witnesses. In addition, they've managed to tap into the one thing I personally believe identifies every Jehovah's Witness I have ever known. Are you ready for what that is? I'm going to say it. Jehovah's Witnesses, everyone I've ever known, are so lazy. They're lazy. Yeah, lazy. And I can say that without reservation because I was one of them. And I was pretty well studied, or so I thought, but I was lazy. Sure, I studied when I was giving public talks. I put together convention parts, and I was the Watchtower study conductor for 8 of the 11 years that I was an elder. But look, when a Jehovah's Witness conscientiously studies while being a Jehovah's Witness, it's a completely different dynamic. It's while wearing a pair of glasses that the governing body handed you from childhood, at least in most cases. Your brain has already been warped to see everything through the lens that they have created for you. And so begins my take that Jehovah's Witnesses are not only under their spell, but they're both fearful and too lazy to do anything about it. After all, when you're promised a perfect forever wearing a pair of khakis and eating a fruit-based diet forevermore, you just get in line and you follow the connect the dots schedule they've provided for you. And when your brain has a momentary breakthrough, for example, when you question why a God of love wanted to watch his kids live forever in the nude, am I the only one who wondered that? Or the God of love allowed his angels to grow penises or any other number of things, your well-conditioned thinking mind begins to shut down. And you remember that you only have to obey the governing body and the organization itself to get into said paradise. For those brave Jehovah's Witnesses that might be listening and are immediately uncomfortable, allow me to point this out from your Watchtower library, from the Watchtower of November 15th, 1992, page 20, where we read, quote, "However, loyal elders never try to influence others to reject any of the spiritual food provided by God through the faithful slave. As Jehovah's dedicated witnesses, all of us must be loyal to him and to his organization," end quote. Or how about the Watchtower of July 15th, 1964, page 435, which tells us, quote, "Show respect for the faithful and discreet slave that he is using at the present time. Actually, your very life depends on following this course of action. Remember, too, it is only he that endures to the end that will be saved. End quote. And one more for good measure from Examining the Scriptures Daily, 2024 edition, pages 126 and 127, the Wednesday, December 25th entry, Merry Christmas, everybody, where it tells us, quote, to obey is better than a sacrifice, quoting 1 Samuel 15:22, with the comment, quote, if organizational changes test your loyalty, what should you do? Fully support the organizational changes. Jehovah values your obedience far more than any assignment, end quote. I'll bet he does. Yeah, the daily messaging to Jehovah's Witnesses via equally imperfect men, just like the rest of us, in upstate New York. It's a formula that was planted in the minds of people that just really want to live forever petting lions and lose their crow's feet. And let me tell you, it works. As Jehovah's Witnesses choose the path of ignorance and commit themselves to lazy obedience, they're constantly looking for justification for their lifestyle. And I am here this week to tell you there is a new excuse rising to the top on the horizon. Check that, actually. This new excuse from the governing body as to why things look shaky, well, that excuse has finally arrived. Featured this week on the front page of the only website powered by Holy Spirit was the governing body's attempt to plant a seed and vigorously begin to water it. And I might add from the beginning, it is working. Featured last week was Jesus' latest spiritual food from heaven, even if he did forget to mention its dangers during his Sermon on the Mount. We were treated to an article titled, quote, Artificial Intelligence, a Blessing or a Curse? What does the Bible say? End quote. And there it is. As the God of this system of things, Satan continues to one-up Jehovah by developing technology to use against Jehovah's Witnesses, the governing body's going to address it. The bad guy, the same guy that was able to somehow crawl inside a snake and appear to Jesus in the wilderness, has apparently sat down at a computer desk to develop the world's latest evil tool, artificial intelligence. If you're asking why an invisible spirit creature that continued to hang out in heaven, at Jehovah's house until 1914, I guess Jehovah just didn't believe in disfellowshipping back then, I don't know. But if you're asking why this powerful God needs to use AI to work his magic, well, so am I. And here we are. Even as we watch Jehovah's Witnesses enjoy their new beards and the ladies quit shaving their legs months ago, the governing body has leaned into the landscape of modern society to leverage technology as their latest attempt to distract Jehovah's Witnesses from their oh-so-sordid organizational history. Even as they're sending letters to congregations to destroy old literature and they're removing gravestones, they are prepping Jehovah's Witnesses with a built-in excuse for everything they're seeing about this organization online, everywhere from the internet itself to social media. And oh yes, we all knew it was just a matter of time. Now when you encounter those disobedient Jehovah's Witnesses that are actually engaging with people on social media, they'll dismiss everything you show them by just saying it's all AI. Have you seen this? I've already seen this in action, especially on TikTok. And I'm not a big social media guy, but I admit to stumbling in there from time to time, and it gives me a headache. I can't begin to tell you how many people I've seen dismissing everything from Beth Sareem to multiple Watchtower articles and covers to entire publications and more by claiming it's just we apostates out here mastering artificial intelligence. It shows the depth of brainwashing these people are under. You can't point them to the reference or send a photo of their own publication, and they immediately claim it's an apostate using AI. That's the new bumper sticker. Never do these people actually open their own Watchtower library and simply look at the reference that you just sent them, a reference you got off their website. And I'm here to tell you it's because they're lazy. They're lazy, and tragically, they're afraid. It's easier to simply believe it's all AI. Now, where would they be getting that built-in excuse from? I wonder. Well, back to this week's article on the website. As the faithful slave plants the next seed to keep Jehovah's Witnesses both lazy and ignorant. And it's all artificial intelligence. Consider this week's spiritual content. Again, this article is titled Artificial Intelligence, a Blessing or a Curse? What does the Bible say? Okay, let's get it out of the way. Let's start with the title. Look, call me crazy or call me an evil apostate, but look, I'm going to go out on a limb here. I'm pretty sure the Bible does not comment on artificial intelligence. I know. They ask that leading question in the title, though. What does the Bible say about AI? I mean, a thinking person sees the title itself and just begins to laugh. I searched and I searched. This is such BS. I did not. And the Bible does not comment on AI. In fact, after losing an Excel spreadsheet once, I prayed to Jehovah on the spot and opened my Bible to see what it said about Microsoft Excel spreadsheets. And I couldn't find any answers to my prayers on that either. Let's just get it out of the way. AI wasn't invented during the Bible's golden era. In fact, its foundation didn't begin until the 1950s, and it's only really taken shape starting in about 2012. AI has only become mainstream in the last few years, so call me crazy. But to even claim that the book you can find in the side table at your local Holiday Inn has anything to say about AI is comical at best, but downright insulting intellectually at worst. But hey, here we are. That never stopped the faithful and oh so discreet slave before. They have said similar things in the past, for those of us that remember, about other technologies. Maybe you remember what they had to say about television and going to the movies. From the May 22nd, 1991 Awake, page 6, Has Television Changed You? We are offered this, quote, however, a mere window cannot select the view it presents you. It cannot determine the lighting or the angle of view, nor can it abruptly change the view just to hold your interest. TV can. Such factors dramatically shape your feelings and conclusions about what you are looking at, yet they are controlled by the people who produce TV shows, Even the most unbiased of newscasts and documentaries are subject to such manipulation, however unintentional it may be. But no matter how constructive reading a good book may be, TV, that nimble thief of time, may easily push books out of the picture, end quote. I wonder what they were thinking in 91 as a massive book publishing company. Back to the quote. When television was first introduced in New York City, the public library soon reported a drop in book circulation. In the final analysis, there are probably very few who would argue seriously that TV does not prevent very real dangers both to children and to adults. But what does that mean? Should parents ban TV watching in the home? Should people in general protect themselves from its influence by throwing it out or stowing it in the attic? End quote. That reference on television from, a few years back, 30 years or so, all seems fairly ironic. Coming from an organization that now has a multi-million-dollar movie and television studio and does the majority of its preaching in a video format. Even more ironic are their comments that the audience consuming their videos are, quote, controlled by the hosts themselves, and that watching video has led to the end of books, something they themselves are no longer producing at volume, including their staple magazines, The Watchtower and Awake. Suddenly, television and video, both tools of Satan to corrupt our minds in the past, are now used by the governing body of Jehovah's Witnesses. Isn't that something? Oh yes, they have had plenty to say about technology over the decades, only to embrace that same technology to their own end, folks. In case you missed it last week, I predicted that they would soon be leveraging social media. And I felt like Nostradamus because literally 2 days later, after I recorded last week's episode, it was announced on all social media sites by many wonderful people that I can neither confirm nor deny, I saw it like everyone else, that Jehovah's Witnesses had suddenly appeared on social media, on both TikTok and Instagram. And I have to confess right here, I haven't had time for research. I'm unsure if these are legitimate. Correct me if you've heard. But I am not in the least bit surprised. What was once the playground of Satan is now the playground of the governing body. Technology is a double-edged sword, according to the governing body. Therefore, they immediately pop this article on artificial intelligence onto the front page. It's very evil, unless you're them. It's very good when they use AI. And it has long been one of their favorite tactics while reasoning with their very loyal follower base. But back to the article from the website this week. The very first paragraph says something amusing. It says, quote, recently, world leaders, scientists, and technologists have commented on the power of artificial intelligence, AI. While acknowledging its value, they have also expressed concern over its potential misuse. End quote. Yeah, of course. Of course they have. Wild stuff. And I'm going to guess you're going to lean into it here. Heaven's 11. No wonder Jesus chose these 11 geniuses. Also, this just in, folks, breaking news. Are you ready? Fire. Fire. It's great stuff for keeping warm and making s'mores. Fire also can potentially burn you if you stick your hand into it. How about knives? Knives, we all use them. They're great for cutting your filet mignon. Not so great if your finger gets in the way. Also just in, ovens. They're great for cooking food. Not so great to stick your hand onto a burner. You see how this all works when you're inspired by Holy Spirit? The same held true for the 11 guys in New York. When it comes to TVs, even computers, video games, the internet, whatever the new thing is that's part of pop culture, it gets on their radar. And so now, folks, it's all AI. They have to create this article. They have to say this because if you've been unfortunate enough to watch their movies and broadcasts, you will see that they themselves have been leveraging AI the past few years. It's very, very apparent in some of their videos. Just like everything, literally everything, it can be misused. There's walls in your house, they're pretty good. Smashing your head into it, not so good. I mean, what a revelation, huh? But this tiny little paragraph to start this article is doing more than just stating the obvious. It's doing what they really want to do. It's planting a seed. A seed that creates doubt in the minds of Jehovah's Witnesses. Is what I'm watching real, or is it AI? Is that reference that guy posted on TikTok really from the Watchtower Library, or is it AI? Did they use AI to create that video where Stephen Lett claimed babies were little enemies of God? Is it AI that someone used to show us Tony Morris saying he can't wait to see people split open like hot dogs at Armageddon? Is it all AI? If I see this on TikTok, did an apostate create this? On and on it goes. One paragraph, 2 sentences. Doubt planted. And it is already being leveraged by lazy Jehovah's Witnesses all over social media. I've seen it. I've jumped into arguments. I can't tell you how many responses and videos I've seen claiming references that you give to them from their library are nothing more than apostates using AI. It is not a coincidence that AI has hit the governing body's radar as a potential tool of Satan himself to lie about Jehovah's Witnesses and the organization. So brace yourselves. This is the future for Jehovah's Witnesses, for some of us, our own families and conversations. Beth Sareem, oh, that was probably AI. Well, it's right here in the book. You used AI to make that. Chuck Russell's pyramid drawings or his gravestone, those were just AI. On and on it's going to go. And this article on the website continues to reinforce doubt, a built-in excuse for the comical and deadly blunders of the men that lead Jehovah's Witnesses. The article continues with 3 bullet points. I want to say again, the title of this article is What Does the Bible Say About Artificial Intelligence? Okay, keep that in mind. Here's the 3 bullet points. Quote, AI is one of today's most powerful technologies with the potential to improve people's lives. At the same time, AI has the potential to dramatically increase threats to safety and security, infringe civil rights and privacy, and erode public trust and faith in democracy. End quote. Comes to us from Kamala Harris, Vice President of the United States, May 4th, 2023. But it's on the website. Second bullet point, quote, while artificial intelligence or AI offers promising solutions in healthcare, it also poses a number of threats to human health and well-being, wrote an international group of doctors and healthcare experts led by Dr. Frederick Federspiel in an article published on May 9th, 2023 in BMG Global Health. Bullet point number 3, quote, AI can already be a tool of misinformation. Soon, it could be a risk to jobs. Somewhere down the line, tech's biggest worriers say, it could be a risk to humanity. End quote from the New York Times, May 1st, 2023. So ends the 3 bullet points in the governing body's article. But first, for the thinkers among us today, this is so hilarious. I thought we were going to look into what the Bible says about AI. Well, no, not yet. Nope. We're going to reprint quotes from other imperfect human beings instead. Gotta make a point. But no one noticed, right? Not really. Let's see what the Bible says, and then proceed to give us bullet points on what other people said. Where was the Bible in all of this? It wasn't. They are so good at doing this. And all of us, even those that have left, we used to accept this stuff. I used to conduct the Watchtower, guys, really dig into this stuff. As they've done throughout their history, they vilify human leadership as imperfect and even disrespectful of Jehovah and his kingdom. And then they use that same leadership to make their point. It's an odd flex. Is now a good time to point out that the Bible itself was compiled by what they call, I don't know, false religion? So Jehovah's Witnesses from the outset on all things Bible need to realize that Jehovah let Satan and his guys collect the Bible for him? Why? Why did he do that? The Bible canon was collected by false religion, folks. But it sure sounds good, right? It sure sounds good, the Bible and stuff. And Jehovah's Witnesses, one that might be bravely listening today, they don't even notice this stuff. Because fear-mongering works. Saying the word Bible works. Their brain clicks off a switch and just says, oh, whatever follows after the word Bible must be fact, even though the Bible hasn't even been opened in this article. And it also reinforces their whole last days thing. AI, as these quotes went on to show, will threaten human health, jobs, it'll steal civil rights, all plays into the last days commentary. And just a reminder, by the way, if you would like a recent example of them doing this, check out this one from the Awake of 2019, issue number 1, page 3, under the scary article, Threats to Our Safety and Security. We are told, quote, increasingly, the internet is proving to be a dangerous place to live. It is a haven for pedophiles, bullies, trolls, and hackers, says the newspaper The Australian. Identity theft is one of the fastest growing crimes in the world. The internet provides another outlet for one of the worst traits of humankind, the capacity to be vicious and cruel. End quote. Oh my, the internet. The World Wide Web. This seems a little odd, doesn't it? Pulled this right out of the library from 2019. This very organization saying this, putting it to print, has rebranded itself as being found on the internet. I know. You know that whole jdub.org thing that they're continually pushing online, that you can even see proudly displayed on their signs in front of kingdom halls. The internet. You know, the place Jehovah's Witnesses tell you to go when you visit one of their book carts. They don't open the Bible there either, folks. They hand you a tablet and point you to the internet. Imagine encouraging people to go find the truth, to go find salvation, Jesus' precious waters, in a place that their 2019 Awake magazine claimed was, quote, a haven for pedophiles, bullies, trolls, and hackers, end quote. I don't know. Why did Jehovah the Almighty bury his life-saving message in that neighborhood? I have to navigate child abusers, bullies, and something called corn. We all know what I'm referring to. I can't say the word here. You know, lots of adult corn in this neighborhood. To actually locate jdub.org, why would the faithful and discreet slave be sending us through such a dangerous, deadly, disturbing neighborhood just to find their website? The internet is Satan's playground. Isn't it dangerous? You know, the last time this happened, where Jehovah was saying, look, I see nothing but bad, evil, nasty stuff. and I see a little bit of good stuff. You know, the last time that happened, Jehovah took action. Maybe you even remember. You see, I have my Bible here, and well, I can see Jehovah sent angels to some guy named Lot to actually lead him away from the bullies, from the pedos, and a whole bunch of other bad people. Of course, Jehovah told people to stay away from places like the internet. But look, he also cleaned up entire neighborhoods. Maybe you remember. From the Watchtower of April 15th, 1990, page 11. Why didn't I think of this? We are told the following about how Jehovah navigates and deals with yucky bad places. We're told, quote, oh my, look at this. The historical account in Genesis chapter 6 informs us that in, love you, man, Noah's day, the earth had become ruined in the sight of the true God. Why? Because of violence. This was not a matter of isolated cases of criminal violence. Genesis chapter 6 and verse 11 reports that the earth became filled with violence, kind of like the internet. This does not mean that God felt that he had made a mistake when he created humankind. Rather, he felt regret that after he had made humans, their conduct became so evil that he was obliged to destroy them. End quote. Well, okay then. We get it. Sometimes Jehovah just feels obliged to destroy bad places and bad people. Who knew? As always, it starts with my guy Noah. And no wonder the faithful slave has so much to say about the dangers of the internet and now even AI. But look, why then are they saying they pose a threat to Jehovah's Witnesses, you know, the internet, AI, technology, and then using, the internet, AI, technology as primary tools to teach Jehovah's Witnesses? Is this seem like hypocrisy to anyone but me? I've never known Jehovah, and I'm searching his old dusty book here, to send his people into a drug den to find some health care. So what gives here? There it is. The insanely stupid reasoning of the faithful and discreet slave in 2026. Just a few years ago, the internet was dangerous, but now it's their favorite tool. And now AI is dangerous too, and you can see us using it in our videos that we post on that same dangerous internet. But please, let's get more quotes from people like Kamala Harris. Her, a non-Jehovah's Witness? Oh, wow. On all things dangerous AI. These are the types of articles that they're spitting out on the website, folks. Back to that article, it continues with the following profound sentence, quote, time will tell to what extent AI will be used for good or for bad. What does the Bible say? End quote. Here we are again. Here we go again. I hate to break the news to the Heavens 11 in New York. It doesn't have much to say about artificial intelligence, guys. It also doesn't have much to say about things like shoelaces or even flushing toilets. But look, I'm on the edge of my seat with anticipation to see how you 11 men make artificial intelligence fit into a book written by a bunch of goat herders. So here we go. Back to the article for subheading, quote, why human efforts create uncertainty, end quote, for a moment. Do they see the irony in this? Human efforts and uncertainty, are they human? Never mind. The 2 points they make under the subheading, quote, the Bible shows why humans cannot guarantee that their technological advances will result in being used only for good. Point number one, quote, even when people have good intentions, they may not foresee the negative effects of their actions. There is a way that seems right to a man, but in the end, it leads to death. End quote, Proverbs 14:12. Point number two, quoting the article, a person has no control how others will use or misuse his work. I must leave my work behind for the man coming after me, and who knows whether he will be wise or foolish. Yet he will take control over all the things I spent great effort and wisdom to acquire under the sun. Quoting Ecclesiastes 2:18 and 19, end quote. Oh my. Who wants to tell the governing body? Dear governing body guys in this article, by sharing these 2 points along with Bible verses, you seem to have missed something pretty basic. You see, by quoting generic verses from your old book about negative effects of human actions or human decisions or having no control over the work humans do, you literally just condemned, wait for it, yourselves, because you're men. You see, you two are human, with mass amounts of authority over an estimated flock of 8 million plus people. And to really prove these Bible verses are in fact spitting truth about human nature, you two, the 11 of you, have no ability and have not foreseen your own negative effects on Jehovah's Witnesses, nor have you been able to control your own work. How about one example I can't resist? The blood doctrine. How has that worked out, fellas? Was it, as this subheading said, good intention to tell Jehovah's Witnesses that they could not store their own blood for future transfusion? Was that, how did Ecclesiastes put it here in the article? Quote, foolish? And incidentally, this whole blood change is one of the things Jehovah's Witnesses are saying that apostates are twisting on TikTok and Instagram. And it's their defense, not kidding here, is that none of those changes are new light, and that apostates are changing what the governing body has taught by using AI. I don't know how. I'm not kidding, but I've seen this, folks. And as I've been doing, I need to point out to the brave Jehovah's Witness listening that zero AI, zero, has been used to show the governing body's deadly changes to the stored blood issue. Are you ready? To a Jehovah's Witness here, are you ready? If you're thinking we're using AI, grab a pen for a minute, please, if you safely can. Write this down. I'm going to show you in your library where the governing body said that Jehovah's Witnesses can never store their own blood for future medical transfusion. Do you have the pen? Here we go. From your current, as in today, Bible study aid, Enjoy Life Forever, an interactive Bible course on page 255. Did you make a note? You will find it with your own eyes. Subheading number 3, Medical Procedures Involving Blood, where it says this, quote, there are medical procedures that make use of a patient's own blood. Some of these, such as a person donating blood or having his own blood stored in advance of surgery, are not acceptable for Christians. End quote. Oopsie. What? This is currently available on your website. No AI was used. Only the infusion of Holy Spirit, according to a Jehovah's Witness. This is God's organization. And yet you folks are on social media arguing that this is not a new development. Your current Bible study aid says you can't do it. It's incredible to see the countless Jehovah's Witnesses on TikTok claiming that they're all being distorted, you guessed it, by AI. And this lame article featured on the front page this week helps reinforce in their minds their defense of something that is stated on the same damn website. It's just pages away, guys. No AI is being used by apostates. But alas, this is what they claim the Bible, yeah, I know, the Bible has to say about artificial intelligence. Aren't you convinced? Remember that time Abraham dropped the knife just seconds before stabbing Isaac to death because he thought the invisible voice in the clouds was AI? Or how about the time Moses had a good chuckle when he realized that the burning bush talking to him was, oh, that's just AI. Remember Balaam and the talking donkey? Yep, AI. Or maybe that time Jesus was walking on water. Damn, look at that. This AI is really advanced. Search as long and as hard as you would like. You are not going to find the Bible commenting on artificial intelligence. And with every cell in my body, I am not making a joke about reading the Bible as literal and artificial intelligence, okay? It's a very accurate book. Oh my. Okay, subject for another time. But that section of the article on the front page of the website this week ends with the sentence, quote, "Such uncertainty highlights why we need guidance from our Creator," end quote. Jehovah's going to pull the plug on the servers. He'll control AI. Yes, the same Jehovah that also bemoaned the dangers of television, the internet, and don't forget beards. But I speak for everyone when saying that we are all here, well, for some much needed guidance on AI. The feature article on the website this week begins with a new subheading, quote, "Where we can put our confidence," end quote. This paragraph follows, quote, "Our Creator promises that we will never allow humans or any technology that humans create to destroy the earth or mankind. The earth remains forever," Ecclesiastes 1:4. "The righteous will possess the earth and they will live forever on it," Psalms 37:29. Through the Bible, our Creator gives us guidance that will lead to a peaceful and secure future. To learn more about what the Bible says, read the articles, "Is There a Reliable Guide to a Secure Future?" and "A Real Hope for a Better Tomorrow," end quote. Well, Jehovah's going to control AI. And he talks about it in the Bible. You just can't find it. That might be AI. Angels appearing in the past, talking animals and stuff. Hell, maybe it was all AI. But they want us all to believe that that same Bible gives guidance on how to enslave women and maybe kill that guy picking up sticks on a Sunday morning. But we're going to ignore those things and skip to what the Bible says on AI. These little bite-sized articles that they now pump out weekly and put on the front page on the website are so inanely stupid. You really have to wonder what is going on the writing committee. I'd love to meet the committee. But I wanted to tackle this subject itself because it is rapidly becoming the number one excuse and response to those that point out that the organization is crooked and that their history is downright deadly. Cognitive dissonance is strong with Jehovah's Witnesses, and today's J-Dubs have already leaned into and defaulted to AI to explain things they won't let themselves believe are true, even if those things exist in their own literature, in their videos, or on the website. It's fascinating. They don't need apostates. The best stuff is available at their fingertips. Human behavior, including the mental and emotional grips of a cult, man, are they something to behold. They fascinate me, and as someone who survived it, they probably always will. The governing body has gone to great lengths to destroy their older publications. They're removing videos all the time, and they even lie in open courts around the world. No matter the reason, Chuck Russell's Pyramid Monument in Pittsburgh was removed, but not before some of us were fortunate enough to visit it in person. It's not AI in that picture. I was there. They've even made one of their own. You remember, future king, I don't know what he is now, Tony Morris. They made him completely disappear. AI is just the latest convenient excuse and tool of the governing body for covering over the lies they've been pitching to the planet for over a century. All of it in an effort to cover the truth, a brutal truth that is being widely exposed, ironically, via modern technology. So now, as those 11 guys do, they're going to blame the tool itself. They're going to blame the same technology they use. It's just incredible. But they do this not only subtly, but borderline passively by planting these endless seeds of doubts in the minds of Jehovah's Witnesses. These small, intellectually stupid articles that claim that the Bible includes counsel on artificial intelligence, really, coupled with the messaging that anyone exposing the truth about this organization and their conduct as leaders, well, let's be honest, they're just working hand in hand with Satan himself. From the Watchtower of November 19th, page 15, paragraph 8, where we're told, quote, Satan, the father of the lie, uses those under his control to spread lies about Jehovah and about our brothers and sisters. For instance, apostates publish lies and distort facts about Jehovah's organization on websites and through television and other media. Those lies are among Satan's burning arrows. How should we respond if someone confronts us with such lies? We reject them. Why? Because we have faith in Jehovah and we trust our brothers. In fact, we avoid all contact with apostates. We do not allow anyone or anything, including curiosity, to draw us into arguing with them. End quote. Whoa. One quick visit right this second to TikTok, and you will find that there are many Jehovah's Witnesses that are completely ignoring this command from the governing body. There are J-Dubs on social media engaging in full-blown arguments about their organization's mistakes, photographs, Watchtower references, with all of those people, at least the ones I've seen, claiming that what we're showing or posting is either AI or it's been photoshopped. If it wasn't so funny, it would be chilling. We're talking about well-meaning people, maybe even people we personally care about, who don't believe that the sky is blue. They're more than happy to argue that the sky is yellow. And they dig their heels in and they just scream and scream about it. Meanwhile, on their own website, from Lesson 58, Remain Loyal to Jehovah, their current Bible study aid, Enjoy Life Forever, an interactive Bible course, you can find this in Lesson 58, quote, some people will try to prevent us from serving Jehovah. Who would do such a thing? Some who have left the truth tell lies about God's organization in order to destroy our faith. They are called apostates. Also, some religious leaders spread false information about us to cause unsuspecting ones to leave the truth. It is dangerous for us to argue with any opposers, to read their books or blogs, to go to their websites, or to watch their videos. Regarding those who try to discourage others from loyally serving Jehovah, Jesus said, "Let them be. Blind guides is what they are. If then a blind man guides a blind man, both will fall into a pit." End quote. That's what they say. Jehovah's Witnesses aren't listening, folks. And just one more for emphasis, all pulled from modern things, modern references right off the website, from the Watchtower of 2012, May 15th, page 26, paragraph 13. Quote, "Let us therefore have nothing to do with apostates or anyone who claims to be a brother, but who is dishonoring God. This should be the case even if he is a family member. We are not benefited by trying to refute the arguments of apostates or those who are critical of Jehovah's organization. In fact, it is spiritually dangerous and improper to peruse their information, whether it appears in written form or it is found on the internet." End quote. 3 references from the website about J-dubs arguing or even looking at stuff that apostates post or say about the organization. I might add, the vast majority of which they've pulled off the jdub.org website and just sent it to them. This is all a clear case of essentially the governing body declaring, "Game on, people, game on." They know that many Jehovah's Witnesses will ignore their counsel to not even look, to think, consider. The sky is yellow, we promise. They know that they're going to ignore their counsel and engage with apostates, particularly family members. They're producing videos in the convention to show it. Remember the African American brothers? Yeah. They're writing articles about AI, even as they themselves use AI to teach Jehovah's Witnesses. And so, a public service announcement of sorts. My advice to anyone engaging with a J-dub that they care about and hoping to reason with is to keep it simple, really simple. Use their favorite book, the Bible. Use the New World Translation and hand them references to their own library. Don't even take pictures. Write them down with a pencil and hand it to them. I'm going to break your heart here, but most of them will never take the time to read the verses or to look up the information you took the time to give them. Part of it is fear. Part of it is that they're lazy. But in my experience, it's the best way to open up a Jehovah's Witness's long sleeping brain. Whatever the case, here we are this week, AI. In the 70s and 80s, we were told it was the demons themselves personally misleading us. They could even come through the TV or that purse you got at the garage sale. In the 90s and the 2000s, they flipped more to messaging about how we'd be misled by entertainment, the internet, and social media. And now, well, it's AI, artificial intelligence. As is always the case, it's the responsibility of each of us, each person, to make a choice. Ignorance and obedience, or education and truth. It's up to each of us. As I always am, I'm reminded of a quote from Stanley Milgram, the scientist who is best known for the controversial Milgram experiment on obedience to authority that he conducted at Yale University in the 1960s. Go read it. It's fascinating. But he said this in his report, quote, "The disappearance of a sense of responsibility is the most far-reaching consequence of submission to authority." End quote. Artificial intelligence. Folks, no matter what, it will never replace authentic human thinking. Thanks for joining me this week. Wherever you may be, this podcast was not recorded by an artificial being. Be well.